Good evening. I'm speaking tonight in support of Kern High School District Board members David Manriquez and Stephen Rodriguez. These dedicated public servants have recently been under attack for simply doing their job of improving the education of our students. Kern High School teachers endorsed both of these candidates in the 2024 election for the simple reason they are committed to furthering the educational opportunities of our students in Kern County. They do not seek attention by taking positions on issues that have no effect on educating our students and are only interested in following our laws. Recently, a minority of members of our community have begun a petition to recall both of these board members because they voted to follow California law allowing transgender athletes to compete in high school athletic events. Regardless of your opinion on this issue, in no way does their vote negatively impact the Kern High School District. They are following the law as they realize they are Kern High School District board members and not California legislators. This issue has been used by certain individuals to further their own political ambitions and has no effect on the day-to-day operation of our Kern High School District schools. As a teacher at Liberty High School, I can attest to the fact that whether or not transgender athletes compete in our sporting events is a non-issue that has zero effect on our students. Please let us focus on what is important in education and stop being distracted by issues that have nothing to do with improving the education of our students in schools. Thank you.
Board, I would support the Kern High School Board to adopt policy to allow the display of the 10 Commandments and other founding documents. I believe it would make a significant shift back towards the values our nation was founded upon. When the English colonized America, they did not start from scratch in writing the laws. They used the English common law, which its content dates back to ancient times. In the 15th century BC, a group of slaves who lived in Egypt were rescued and guided to an eastern land. These people were given the 10 Commandments to help instruct the way their civil responsibilities were to their God and to each other. Some of these were the value of human life, being honest with each other, valuing private property, and valuing the covenant of marriage. When these people followed the commandments, they were blessed individuals and a nation, and when they didn't, they experienced consequences. In 890 AD, King Alfred the Great used the 10 Commandments as the foundation of English common law. He had them codified, that is, enacted by a legislative body. Some of these laws enacted were no public exposure, no prostitution allowed, no drunkenness, no disorderly behavior. It's interesting to note that the English common law was incorporated in our 7th Amendment in the U.S. Constitution. Historically, the 10 Commandments were known as the moral law, as stated by John Witherspoon, signer of the Declaration, Noah Webster, William Penn, and John Quincy Adams. Another historical fact is that the New England Primer was the first textbook printed in America, originally published in Boston around 1690, and it was reprinted frequently over the centuries with millions of copies sold, and it was used throughout the entire United States up to the beginning of the 20th century. This book contained the 10 Commandments, and it has blessed and guided both children and adults for the last 150 years. I thank you for your time.
I am a community advocate here in Bakersfield with policing issues and education issues and with our juvenile justice. All of you are all very familiar with me. People in the community are very familiar with me. I'm here tonight because I'm concerned about the things that are going on with the Kern High School District. I have not been able to be at these meetings on a regular basis because of some health issues for the last year, but I will be here on a regular basis now. Seeing the things that are going on by the people that are pro-MAGA, pro their version of Christianity, that is does not have any place in our schools. As a community member who works directly with your students and with your families, I volunteer my time. Nobody pays me for what I do. I see the impact of having actual working relationships with our schools, with our teachers, with our principals, and not getting politics involved. We need to remember these are kids and they have rights. And just to remind people like Penny, who's trying to get Mr. Manriquez and Mr. Rodriguez removed, we voted them in. It was our choice because these are the people that respect and represent our students on the east side and various areas. Also, when it comes to the 10 Commandments for Mr. Frazier, because I'm an advocate in this community, because of the things that I've been doing for over 16 years, I made sure I sent out an email to the Department of Justice to let them know that attorney that focuses on school civil rights issues, to let them know what's going on directly with this board and to let them know so they can start watching what's going on. I am here to advocate for our children's constitutional rights, our state rights, and I do not want to see them violated in any shape or form. Thank you very much.
First off, how dare you? All of you disgust me. We are gathered here today to discuss a once beautiful ideology now corrupted by people who cheer the dismemberment, deportation, and death of anyone who doesn't look, love, or lie like a disgusting Republican. I speak to you knowing that anyone who supports the 10 Commandments in a school must be wrapped in a flag and carrying a cross, just as Sinclair Lewis predicted fascism would arrive. Christians don't worship a strange orange rapist, fraud, and traitor like a deity. Christians don't consider January 6th to be a holy day. Christians who accept child abusers being sent to mental health diversions should not be honored by their children. Christians don't bear false witness just to justify a mother getting murdered. Christians don't commit adultery and bury their wife on the back nine for a tax break. Christians don't steal people off the street for crossing an imaginary line. Christians don't advocate for invading other countries no matter how much they covet their natural resources. To quote Reverend Jeremiah Wright and get down to the last of the 10 Commandments, you want us to sing God Bless America? No, 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 no. God damn America. And I say that with no vanity in my heart to share with you because your hearts are so full of hatred. If the Christians of this county were to write a Bible, it would be a very different Bible. Matthew 25:35 could read, "For I was hungry and you robbed me. For I was thirsty and you pissed on me. I was naked and you raped me. I was sick and you bankrupted me. I was in prison and you neglected me." If these fascist losers and white supremacist pastors disgust you, join the Democratic Socialists of America and let's get these atrocious bigots out of office. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time here. I pray for you. I pray for your board often, and when you're in the hospital, I'll come visit you as well. So my intent in proposing the reinstatement of the 10 Commandments alongside other significant historical documents in public schools is to foster a renewed appreciation for the foundational principles of our nation. The 10 Commandments specifically, and the Bible more broadly, have played an influential role in shaping both our legal and our moral foundation and our documents. Given that the cornerstone of this country rests upon the principles of the freedom of religion rather than freedom from religion, it is essential to recognize the true intent behind the often misapplied concept of separation of church and state, including the rationale for moving from the Lemon test to the historical test. This effort does not advocate a theocracy or extreme nationalist ideology. Rather, it is to seek to reflect what the founders envisioned, a nation mindful of its origins and values that guided its inception. The enduring significance of these influences is evident in their representation throughout society, whether carved in stone, depicted through statues, or incorporated in symbolic architecture, serving as a reminder of our relationship to uphold the legacy of our republic and honor those who came before us. In God We Trust remains our national motto, and One Nation Under God reflects our commitment to self-evident truths that all individuals are created equal, endowed with certain unalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So I invite you to join me in this important undertaking as we seek to enrich our civic understanding and heritage of our country. Thank you for your consideration in this matter. And I will be bringing the Ten Commandments back. We're putting a resolution together for you as we speak, and I want to present this to you. Again, I pray for you. I pray for the board. I know there's a lot going on, but I believe in the time-honored principle of innocent before proven guilty. And so I stand on that as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, board members. My name is John Hart. I am a former Bakersfield, Californian photojournalist, journalism instructor at Cal State Bakersfield and Bakersfield College, now fully retired. You may also, if you wish, refer to me by my nickname, Satan's Apostle, which was given to me on social media by a local supporter of last year's Ten Commandments proposition and a lifelong member of the Republican National Committee after I wrote the first letter of opposition to the editor of the Bakersfield Californian following Reverend Frazier's spectacularly failed attempt to have the First Amendments included in county schools. I'm not offended by it at all. I have embraced the nickname. As you can see, I wear it proudly, and I even have their Facebook post framed in my office. I'm not here to argue the merits of this proposal. I'm here to make 3 quick points. First, I encourage you to ask yourselves if this proposal is really something for the good of Kern High School District students, or is it simply the continuing tiresome attempt of a man who, on his own and in his own mind, has declared himself the guardian of our community's public morality, who seeks fame and personal glory in conservative MAGA circles by imposing the Christian nationalist agenda wherever he can. Does he have student and educational interest at heart, or is this solely about his own self-interest and public ambitions? I think the answer is readily out there, evident in his camera chasing. You'll find him wherever there's a TV camera to be found, and especially on his social media pages. Do yourself a favor, take a look, and decide for yourself. Next, I urge you not to be tricked by the rebranding of this effort to install the Ten Commandments by packaging them as part of a historical document. Nice try. I don't know when you all were born. I do know when I was born, but I do know that none of us were born yesterday. How absurd is this comical packaging attempt? Well, I'll give you an example. Recently, Kern County Superintendent of Schools Board Chair Mary Little, a supporter of the, again, thankfully failed effort to have these commandments placed in the county schools she represents, was not even able to name the other historical documents when she gave a TV interview. And finally, I'll read this really quickly. The primary reason why I'm here is to tell you that should you proceed with an attempt to have the commandments placed in Kern High School classrooms and facilities, we will fight you. Progressive political activism has changed dramatically in Bakersfield and Kern in the era of MAGA and Trumpism. I've watched it in the 45 years I've lived in this community. We are many, we are organized, we are passionate, we know where the legal aid is, and we are prepared to wage a years-long and unfortunately costly battle against you. We packed 200 people into 2 rooms at the Kern County meeting last November. We'll do better this time. We have one under our belt, and we're ready to do battle to keep these 10 commandments out of the high school district. You'll be in for a heck of a battle. Thank you.
My name is Alyssa Jones. I'm a teacher at Foothill, and I first want to thank trustees David Manriquez and Stephen Rodriguez for following state laws that protect a small minority of our students. Our trans athletes don't deserve dehumanizing resolutions that promise to limit their access to our incredible sports programs. They deserve to live active, healthy lives like the rest of the student population. I agree with those here with the Kern Board of Education Improvement Coalition speaking out against the KCSOS Board's campaign to post the 10 Commandments in classrooms like mine in clear violation of the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment of the Constitution. I was excited to represent my alma mater, Liberty High, at Friday's Kern High Day celebration. And I remember as a student feeling ashamed of Chad Vegas and the school board in changing the names of holidays and forcing "In God We Trust" posters on walls. It actually demonstrates a lack of authentic Christian faith. Real Christians don't force Christ's teachings. They bring people to Christ through stewardship and high moral behavior. I also want to bring attention, I told you I'd be all over the place. There is a constitutional crisis happening by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. We need to closely examine what's happening at Roosevelt High School in Minneapolis. We need to consider procedures when federal agents, like in Minnesota, perform as domestic terrorists and threaten a community's right to life, liberty, and happiness. 2 U.S. citizens are dead, and several documented and undocumented immigrants have disappeared in detention facilities. I'm terrified seeing the social contract violated again and again. My students are recognizing that they have fewer opportunities and safeguards to protect their rights. Ask any teacher. Students are struggling most with apathy. We need to address weaknesses in crisis response planning in this case, like at Roosevelt High. Students, staff, and community members, were assaulted there on their campus. We can't let this happen to us. Not only that, we also need to address students' mental health concerns. Due to this apathy, due to this destruction of the social contract, our students are hopeless. They're losing faith in our government institutions. And so not only do we need to provide planning for the physical, but we also need to look out for their mental wellness as well. Thank you for hearing me tonight.
I support the decision of your board to adopt a resolution to oppose biological males in women's sports and locker rooms. It appears Kern County residents agree with the recall efforts of the 2 trustees who did not vote for the resolution. It is my opinion the 2 trustees who support this gender-affirmative ideology have no respect for young female and should be terminated immediately. Let me read you one page from a sex education comprehensive sexual health booklet from a well-respected middle school in Northwest Bakersfield entitled LGBTQ plus bias and its effects. Most LGBTQ plus students have experienced harassment and discrimination at school. Over 8 in 10 experience verbal harassment. Nearly 2/3 experience discrimination due to the feeling unsafe and uncomfortable. Nearly 1/3 miss at least 1 day of school a month. Hostile school climates negatively affect LGBTQ students' educational outcomes and mental health. LGBTQ plus students who are victims are twice as likely not to go to college. LGBT students have lower GPAs, lower self-esteem, and higher levels of depression. This is the mindset the state of California government is pushing. This is an example of the public education system protocol that is teaching our children what to think, not how to think. We need to push for local control of our schools to silence this nonsense and support faith and truth in leadership. Thank you.
Good evening, Board President, members of the board. My name is Brian Osorio, and I'm here on behalf of Building Healthy Communities, Kern. We work closely with many parents and families whose children attend schools in this district. I'm here to share our collective commitment to ensuring that your district remains a safe and inclusive environment for all students. I specifically want to address the discussion of a potential resolution regarding the 10 Commandments. The families we work with, the Latino families we work with, represent different faiths and backgrounds, and we believe to ensure every student feels they belong, it is important that school environments remain neutral. We encourage the board to focus on policies that are inclusive of all families and that it maintains a welcoming space for all students, regardless of their personal beliefs. To conclude, we at BHC and the parents we serve believe that when we prioritize inclusion, we build a stronger district for everyone. Thank you for your time and for the work you do for your students.
Thank you very much.